was taken from the tabernacle of Moses by the Philistines, and it was kept for 7 months, and they put it on a shelf next to an idol named Dagon. It was taken from there, and it was taken by Saul's son Abiathar, and it was taken from there, and David wanted it to go to the courts of Jerusalem, and from there he sent it to the house of Obed-Edom. But when he found out that Obed-Edom's house was blessed, he took it from there, because I don't care how good some people are, they can't stand to see you blessed when they're struggling. He took it from there, and it ends up with Zadok and Abiathar, the priest under David, and they take it, and it goes back and forth. And somewhere around 586 BC, the temple was destroyed, and from there we lose sight of the ark. And we don't know where it is. Are y'all still with me? I need you to hear me. The temple was destroyed, and the ark was lost. Now, why did I go through that historical lesson? The reason why I went through that historical lesson is because the temple that the young man is sitting in front of doesn't have the Ark of the Covenant. Which means that the temple that the young man is sitting in front of doesn't have the Spirit of God in it. All of my life I have read this text and talked about the man being lame. And it wasn't until this week that I recognized that the reason why the man was lame is because the temple was. The problem with today's society is the Spirit is no longer in the church. And no wonder our sons are lame, because the temple is lame. No wonder our daughters are lost, because the temple is lame. No wonder we are on the precipice of losing a generation, because the temple is lame. Every time a pastor has to get up, Bishop did it, and I have to do it, and say, somebody ought to praise God. Somebody ought to give God glory. Sharon Ann and Kefia are up here saying, somebody ought to praise God. And we're begging you to praise God in his house. The one thing you ought to be able to do when you
give
enter
him
a man's
thanks.
house is at least say,
thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
yes.
I wish I had somebody who knew whose house you were in. My house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer. Touch three people, say, this is his house. This is his house. It may be our church, but it's his house. You didn't die for this place. You didn't shed any blood for this place. You give your tithes and offering, but it is insignificant to the gift that he gave.